Hello, everyone, and welcome to Flick in Reel, your friendly neighborhood fancast. We are your source for news, reviews, and daily discourse. I am your host, Jesse Swift, and I am accompanied, as always, by my co-host, Mr. Scott Fox.
Good morning. I look a little bit different this morning because
you're missing some. The color has left your face, sir.
Very pale this morning. Feeling very
okay?
pale. Yeah. We're doing good though.
Yeah, we're doing good. And you know what? Today's exciting, not just for the categories that we have, the topics, I don't know, the things that we're talking about today. It's not something episodic. We've been on, Falcon and Winter Soldier binge, and then we had a WandaVision binge. Before that was Mandalorian. We haven't had a lot of time to just talk about what's going on in the world of movies. Also, there hasn't been much to talk about in the world of movies because we've been in a global pandemic. So the fact that we're back into this is really exciting. It's got me jazzed. So jazzed, in fact, I wanted to make sure that we had another guest on the show to help us talk about these topics. And that is the one, the only, the personality.
Oh,
Chris Anthony Lopez.
You're too kind. Jesse, it's a pleasure, brother. Man, Scott, you're looking like a real mean one today. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, brother.
Boom, boom.
Hi, Brandy. How's it going? And we will be talking about that, of course, today. Let's get these off here. There we go. Let's get the names. That's right. There we go. And that's where you can find us, at Jesse Swift, at Chris Anthony Lopez, and at Whoville. All right. So anyone that has seen the, let me just pull this up here. I'm not gonna freeball this. Anyone that's seen the thumbnails today, we've got a final trailer for Quiet Place 2, which it feels like this movie already came out, but it couldn't have come out because I would have been talking about it all the way up until now because the first Quiet Place was incredible. I had a lot of downtime when I was working at Boeing for a little while. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the things we did is we created like this little cardboard box theater thing that we would do with my phone. And I was introducing a whole table full of people to Quiet Place that had never seen it. And and I was like, you guys aren't going to get the same experience I did in theaters. But even on that little screen, they're like, that movie was incredible. I was like, I know. And then I showed them the trailer for Quiet Place 2. And I was like, oh, what's really sick about this is it was supposed to come out a week after the pandemic started kicking.
Right.
It was like the first casualty of the pandemic. I mean, other than actual casualties, which rest in peace. All right, speaking of great transitions, also, we're going to be talking about Red Sonja. One of the reasons, I mean, Scott's always on here, but I needed somebody with a little more expertise, maybe in the Conan verse. And then also Marvel Studios welcomes us back to the movie with a fantastic 3-minute trailer showing us, what we've had before, what's coming up. And of course, just using Stan Lee to tug on our heartstrings and make us cry a lot. Not a little, a lot.
Those jerks. Such jerks.
Now, I will say I may be one of the only one of us to have actually seen the original 1985 Red Sonja back in the 80s when it came out. It's not great. But as a kid, I loved Conan, the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, and then when Red Sonja came out, it was the kind of the continuation of that franchise, and I remember that from back in the 80s, and I loved that movie.
Scott, I have to ask you a really important question then. What is a worse 80s spinoff, Red Sonja or Supergirl?
Supergirl. Red Sonja is rewatchable.
Okay,
Supergirl not.
That's fair.
On some real shit.
Was that Helen Slater, right? Supergirl.
How do you remember all of this stuff? It's almost like you're an interginktum celebrity running around.
Celebrity is a strong word, but I appreciate that.
You're on every podcast on YouTube right now.
Right. I mean, I think my man just froze up. Oh my gosh. We lost him. We lost the celebrity.
He panicked because we called him out for being the internet troll that just jumps onto everybody's commentary, except for he goes in full live video like, hey, listen, I know something about this topic too.
Am I back?
You are back.
You're here. I can see you.
Literally, I see thumbnails with your face in every type of safari garb, summer garb, winter. You're all over the map. I'll be honest, it's been fantastic because for us on flicking reel here on our little tiny podcast, your involvement with the Schmodown and everything else has boosted us beyond anywhere we could have thought when we first launched this thing, as fast as we've gotten to where we've gotten. Which, thank you, fans.
If there's one thing I enjoy doing, it is taking other people's hard-earned celebrity for granted. So that's where I'm at. And what I was trying to say before I so rudely froze is that what you don't know is for all those podcasts, I actually offer them money. And for the ones that don't accept money, it's a knife point. So that's where we're at with that. Chris was the first person that actually I didn't have to pay for. You just had to come on the show. And I was like, oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Out of pure generosity, I'm like, you know what? I can throw him a bone. And I can come on this show to talk about Red Sonja and Quiet Place and Marvel. You know, Marvel's only my bread and butter. I could talk about that stuff for hours. But no, I like other stuff too besides that. And I'm glad you thought of me for this.
Don't lie. It's all Marvel.
It is all Marvel, yes.
In honor of Brandy in the chat here, the first thing that we're going to be talking about, and I just refreshed myself up on it, is the final trailer for Quiet Place 2. Now, this was originally supposed to come out in March 2020. Whenever I say 2020, doesn't it feel like a swear? Like, it feels like you should be whispering.
It's a bad word. 2020 is a bad word.
It's rough. Like, I don't even I just want to call this year, like, year one and, like, leave the 2020 out of it. Because this is year one, like, post the beginning of the pandemic. We're coming out of it now. We're on our way out.
I was talking to somebody a couple of days ago, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, like last year," as like referring to 2019. I'm like, "Wait a minute, dude! Like 2019, that was like 2019 BC. That was like before like before all that crazy stuff, right?" So now I don't know what we're gonna call it. Now we can't call it AD, but like it's some it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be a weird
AC.
adjustment.
It's AC. It's gonna be after
AC.
Corona. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. AC.
And it's also like air conditioning. We're cooling off. You know, we're like the temperatures.
Thank God.
Lower.
Like
the political climate. You know, we're trying to relax a little bit.
We need to cool it as a group, like as a one massive group. We need to cool it. But A Quiet Place 2 is one of those first things that got pushed back. It got delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed.
I'll tell you why Go ahead, Scott.
Oh, I was just going to say, you and I, when we were just doing audio podcasts last year, we met right at the start of COVID, and we were talking about Quiet Place 2 because it kind of snuck up also. Quiet Place 2 was one of those ones that didn't have a lot of fanfare as far as like there wasn't a lot of marketing going behind it until right before it was about to come out. So like with a week or two to go, suddenly it was about to pop up, and you and I were talking about it, like I didn't even realize it was coming. The advertising, the promotion for it was so kind of behind the eight ball.
We were talking about getting tickets. It was
we were talking about but it looked, the very first trailers looked so good. And this final trailer, man, I forgot how much I really wanted to see that. And the casting looks fantastic. I love the addition of Jaimon Hansu.
Cillian Murphy.
Yes, across the board, everything looks so good, and you could feel the intensity within the first couple seconds. And I tell you what, when he's it starts with him in that little convenience store, and it shows the spaceship sitting there on the shelf that got his son killed in the first one, and that
spaceship.
That thing just it gutted me right at the start, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then later in the trailer, you have why am I blanking on her name?
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Thank you. I was going to say Emily Smart, and I'm like, that is not the right name. Emily Blunt kneeling at the cross of the sun that passed in that space. The trailer alone painted such a beautiful picture of what this movie could be.
Right.
But I am always, even as much as I'm excited about this one, and this is a definite you have to see in the theater, even as excited as I am, I always hold reservation with a sequel. Because the expectation was so low with Quiet Place, now we're expecting John Krasinski to deliver in this movie. Yeah. And so there's a difference. And so the expectation on him is much higher for what he's got to put out. But man, that I rewatched it just before we went live, and I was like, whoo. Like I was sitting here gripping the sides of my chair, like flinched up really hard.
Well, they used the term nerve shredding in the trailer, and I was like, that seems like a real accurate depiction, because I remember watching the first one when Emily Blunt is giving birth in the bathtub and there's like creatures downstairs, and I was like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe right now. And they say exclusively in theaters, it's worth the wait. You talk about a theatrical experience. There's not many experiences that match up with when I saw Quiet Place, and nobody said a damn thing the entire movie. That's so rare. It was like you could hear a pin drop in the theater over. It was nuts. What did you think of the first Quiet Place, Chris? Me and you have never talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not a thriller horror guy. I'm not at all. I don't like that. It's not my cup of tea. But I did see this in theater. Some friends dragged me to go see it, and I'm like, oh, it's John Krasinski. It's the guy from The Office, like it's that guy, and it's Emily Blunt. I like Emily Blunt. Like she's really cool. So I went to go see this thing, and my theater wasn't as quiet because I was that I was that guy, right? Because I can't deal with this stuff. But that the world that John Krasinski built is absolutely terrifying, and the fact that it's sound, not like Bird Box where you can't see some stuff. Like it's like the second you make some sound, the tiniest
Bird Box
bit of
definitely
sound.
should have come out first because by comparison, it does not hold up.
Oh hell no. But I love what John Krasinski did, especially this came out after Get Out, so we're like, oh, more comedians doing, or more like comic people doing horror thrillers, like that's nuts. And this one was really damn good. It was one of my favorite movies of that year. What was it, 2018?
I want to say 7. I want to say 17 because I think it was the same year as Logan.
Word. All right, and that was the same year as Get Out. So another reason to why that year was so weird for film, because we're getting these people that are crossing genres and excelling at it. And I mean, horror, by all power to you. And I don't disagree with you. I like some horror movies, but I can't handle them. Like my screams are on the internet somewhere watching horror movies. But A Quiet Place 2, like you guys, I also rewatched the trailer before it became on the show. And I thought to myself,
you're a professional.
Of course, right before the show, I'm like, I'm gonna procrastinate because I'm a professional. So right. I watched it one more time, and I'm like, this is absolutely terrifying. The fact that
yikes. Okay, well, good thing that Quiet Place isn't in IG. So
yeah, I had a feeling it was 2018. Good
job.
Thank you. So with this flick, right? I'm assuming we're gonna obviously we're gonna see the beginning of how all this crazy stuff went down, because as the trailer opened up. But yeah, seeing the callback, seeing the world go to shit is going to be something that I'm not prepared for, because the designs of these creatures are also terrifying.
Oh, I know.
And I'm just
it's a low budget movie. It's relatively low budget. I think it's something like 50 or 60. I think they did really good with the alien designs.
Yeah, and we're going to see way more of them in this flick. Just judging by the trailer, and yeah, adding Jimon Hansu, adding Cillian Murphy, this is going to be really damn cool. But my only issue is this movie comes out in 20 days from now. Okay, are people?
Call the movie 20 days later.
There you go. To Scott's point, people were really excited about this movie a year ago. That was a year ago. A lot's happened since then. And did people have to get reminded because of this trailer that this movie's even happening? Now, am I going to see this in theater? Probably not, because I'm a wuss. But I know this will be the ultimate going back to the theater experience, solely because that's how you have to watch this thing. Yeah. I haven't watched A Quiet Place since the theater, because I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice.
And I wanna let Scott talk, but I just really quickly want to say the irony that now, actually I think it was going to be originally anyways, but Emily Blunt is leading a movie coming out the same year as Black Widow, and if you know your Marvel history, it's a little ironic because she was so close to being Natasha herself. Mm-hmm. Scott, do you have some thoughts on the trailer that you want to get out before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm with Chris. I am not a horror fan at all, but I am a suspense thriller fan like there's nobody's business. The problem with horror is I'm not a gore guy. When it's really gory and scary and they're just throwing blood and guts, and you can get a shock value easy in a movie. It's kind of like getting a cheap laugh in a movie. Just because you laugh when you're in the theater doesn't make it a funny movie. It makes, or a good movie, it says, okay, they slipped in a couple jokes. That movie, The Quiet Place, was one of the most tense kind of to Jesse's point, people
and
sitting
like
there watching
blood,
it.
And there's there's not a lot of jump scares. A lot of it's just like environment and stuff. Like you see the creatures behind them, or you have with the daughter, the deaf daughter, and she can't hear anything, and you can just see the movement behind her and know that she's oblivious to it. And you're like, oh my God.
I love when they go perspective and they show her perspective and the sound deadens and you can't hear anything and you're seeing this from her eyes. And that is such a creepy feeling. Like this thing is picking up on audio and she has no idea what the sounds or anything are. And so it makes this, the tension was so perfect in that movie. And again, not a lot of jump scares, not a lot of those things, but there was certainly this build up, and then you get a little relief and then a more build up, and you never really got that full like let down. But it was beautifully done. That movie will stand up 30 years from now as being an intense movie that even on multiple viewings, you still will find yourself gripping. If you're sitting with somebody, you'll be squeezing their hand unintentionally, not realizing how much you've tensed up because it builds that and it's flawless. And I apologize.
No, you're fine, man. Like this movie,
the monsters are coming for Scott,
right? The first movie is something that it to me. It's only been a few years, but damn it, like that movie was like it will stand the test of time. Like we'll look back, like what Saab was saying. We'll look back at this movie in 20 years and we'll be like, yo, like this is an experience. It's not just a movie by a guy that was on The Office and it had his wife in it, all these little things. No, like this was a genuinely good flick, gimmicks aside. And you could take John Krasinski's name off of it. I'd still be interested in this son of a bitch. Like I think it's really, really, the first movie is really well done. The second movie in this trailer, the additions cast wise, and they're fleshing out the world. There are people that are still worth saving or still need saving. Like that's some real shit, you know? And from what it looks like, it's taking place not too long after the events of the first film, because this trailer emphasized the bandage on her foot from when she stepped on that damn nail. And like, talk about intense experience.
I made a noise in the movie, which is no.
That moment when she steps on the glass was akin to in Home Alone when he's walking up the stairs and his shoes come off, then his socks come off, and then there's the nail on the next step, and you see it go through the bottom of his foot. And whenever you watch Home Alone at Christmas, that one spot is the spot that every human being sees him stepping on the nail, goes, oh God, ow, that looks really painful. Stepping on the glass, it makes your skin crawl.
She had the burlap sack and you see it catch on the nail and pull it up and you're like, okay, I know exactly what's going to happen. And as it's coming, you're like, oh no.
And they like how Krasinski directed that whole thing. I mean, he did everything for this damn movie. We knew it was coming. There's no way she was going to avoid it. But us as movie watchers and movie goers, we're just waiting for it, and we know it's going to happen. And when it does happen, we're not surprised by it, but we are at the same time. It's like, well, like, oh God, Emily Blunt's character in that movie goes through so much
trauma.
Yeah, that movie is traumatizing, but it's fantastic. It's really, really, really well done movie. And the second one comes out in a few weeks, and I thought this movie came out later in the year. I didn't know it's still coming out. Only in theaters, by the way. Like no,
they were really clear about
no VODs, no streamers.
We talked about this last year when everything happened. We've talked about it quite a bit. That this happened. This movie was supposed to come out so early. I would have assumed they would have sold the rights to a streaming service in order to just make money back on it.
Right.
But they held on to the property. They waited patiently, and I also love that because it went so well, they gave him a sequel. I also love that John Krasinski writes this movie, shows it to his wife, and she reads it and she goes, you have to let me play this. You can't let anyone else do it. I have to play this role. And now it's blossomed into this new thing. And it's so good that if they really nail this one, I hope they continue to get more. But it's all about what hits the theater. What do you see on the screen? Does it translate the same way? And is it as good as the last one?
I see what you did there, Scott. He nailed it. I see what you did there.
Before we move on, the last thing I'll say is I think two of the biggest things people said coming out of Quiet Place is they're like, oh no, well, if there's going to be a sequel, I wanted more John Krasinski and I want more explanation on the aliens. Like, are we going to get that? And John's like, ooh, two birds, one stone. Check this out. Here's a flashback scene to start the movie off.
Right.
Good job, John. All right. Well, with that, we will kick off onto our next topic here. And I actually created a banner down here so that just seemed a little more professional.
There we go.
And we got, I don't know where Chris's knowledge level is on this, but it seemed like a big topic. I don't know a whole lot about it. I enjoy Conan, but I have Scott on here to talk to us about Hannah John-Kamen being cast as Red Sonja, which is interesting that we have a Red Sonja movie when the last time we had a Conan movie was Jason Momoa back in, like, I don't know, 2010 or 11 or something. It was a while ago. So we don't have a current ongoing Conan franchise. So that's an interesting place to take off from. Now, if the name doesn't sound familiar, she is most commonly known as playing Ghost in Ant-Man and The Wasp. She was also one of the villainous characters at the in Ready Player One as well.
Yes.
And then I think she's been on some TV shows and stuff. But if you look at her IMDb, it's a decent chunk of smaller movies. But I think that she really stands a chance to break out. She's a beautiful girl. She's really talented. I think she has a very dynamic look to her. And Ghost, I think, is actually one of the more underrated villains in the MCU. I think you can understand where she's coming from. And she had an arc in the story. She wasn't evil. No. So I'd be very curious to see what they do here. Scott, tell the people what you know.
Well, I remember seeing the Arnold Schwarzenegger Conans back in the 80s because I'm old. I believe I've got 20 years on both of you guys, or close to. And I remember Red Sonja with Brigitte Nielsen coming out. And I'll be honest, when I heard the casting of it, I went and read some articles, looked it up, and I like it. I think it looks great. She clearly showed with Ant-Man and Wasp that she can do the action, she can do the fighting. She's a very solid actress. So why not? And I love that they're not going with the Norwegian kind of stereotypical look for the character. Are they going to go with the flaming red hair? I hope so. Because that's kind of if you look through the comics or anything else, that is a character trait of Red Sonja,
right?
But they don't have to. We've discovered, that the stereotypical look or perception of what a character should look like or be like or act like or any of that stuff can be thrown out the window, and you can start fresh, new look, new style. And if anything, Hannah John-Kamen is already proved herself in action movies with the abilities to do this stuff. She can do the stunts, she can do the moves, and she's got the acting chops. So it looks like a good fit to me, and I'm all for it. But with you, Red Sonja's character is kind of within the universe of Conan. So how do they tie that back in? Are we going to get a new Conan? Are they just dropping Conan completely and letting her be her own standalone, which would be awesome? Why not? That's a big thing now with going full on to female-led superhero movies without the need of a male counterpart. And so if that's the way they're going, more power to you. Do it. And again, every movie there is out there, we always say this, it comes down to the eye test. What did they put on the screen, and did it translate? And they've certainly got the right supporting people around her to make this a good movie. So,
what's exciting me is that the Conan universe is kind of a little bit of, it's been so long since I watched a Conan movie, but there's definitely fantasy elements in it. Yes, it's not just sword and sandals.
No, there's fantasy elements to it.
Okay. I love fantasy, and the fact that we're going to be able to get a new fantasy genre. Hopefully, it's very successful. I would love for all female-led things to be a lot. Well, I say a lot more successful, but we've seen Captain Marvel break $1 billion. Like, it's starting to happen because it's about, like Scott said, it's the eye test. Are you giving us good content? If you are, then it's likely to be successful. You can't keep blaming Catwoman and Elektra for as being flops because they're female led, because that is not what happened. You gave us dumpster fire and we didn't like it. So with quality content, let's get some good action, some good character development, and some fascinating fantasy visuals and stuff.
On that fantasy portion, the Conan the Barbarian had him battling he ran into a lady in a hut in the middle of nowhere, and she was possessed by a demon. She was a witch trying to steal his soul, and he had to kill her to cast out the demon. James Earl Jones in that first one was also kind of use snakes and other things and drugs to manipulate people. Ginormous snakes in that movie. You guys, give me a second. I apologize. And then the sequel, there were sorcerers, and he had to fight a demigod with the horn that came out as a giant monster. So there are monsters. There's fantasy, wizards, witchcraft. It has the full gambit within the universe. So.
Well, I do want to, with my vague memories, I do want to pose this question to Scott. Over under, say 70% that we get a reference to the god. Is it Crumb?
Crumb is the god in the universe, and I would say you get a 100% chance of Crumb being somehow tied into it.
That's all I needed to hear. Chris, you got any thoughts on Red Sonja?
Totally. A few things, 3 things to be exact. 1, Hannah John-Kamen. I mean, I like a lot of people. I was first introduced to her in Ant-Man and The Wasp. I thought she was great. I wanted to see her in more things. Have I sought out those more things? No, I have not. But like her getting a big franchise like this could be big. This could be really, really big. And I'm all for it. Some more fantasy flicks. We don't get to see those too often, especially those that were rooted in the 80s. And then that's the second thing, right?
Always use more fantasy.
Conan the Barbarian is a character that is, I would say the character's like an icon almost, especially like in movies, especially like with Schwarzenegger playing him and with like Jason Momoa. Like I'm not opposed to seeing more characters like that. And like Sean, what's up, Sean? Seeing Hannah in Ant-Man and the Wasp, totally. But having more like fantasy franchises, that's something we're lacking nowadays. Yeah, it's all superheroes and stuff, and we'll get into that, how much we love them.
I think I just had like a brain blast because this entire time I was trying to think of what her name was in Ready Player One. I think it's like Fatalia. I was like, is that really her name? Because she's a femme fatale. You named her Fatalia.
Nice.
Sorry.
I gotta rewatch Ready Player One. I've only seen it a couple times.
I've seen it like probably 4 times.
I mean, I own it on Blu-ray, so I have no excuse.
The book is better than the movie.
I've heard.
The movie's good.
I own the book too. I'm looking at it right now.
They're different.
They are different. They're very different, but it's so good.
But with Conan, right? This has to. Okay, I don't want to be that guy, but I guess I'm gonna be that guy.
Do it.
This will lead to Conan the Barbarian. Like it may not be immediate, but it's going to. If this succeeds, say Red Sonja makes $800 million worldwide.
I'm guessing this is slightly a lower budget. It could probably do 450.
If it's a lower budget, let's say 500 for the sake of example, right?
Okay,
500. Sure. It makes 500 million worldwide. Fantastic. And they make a second one. Who's making this again? What studio?
Millennium.
Word. Fantastic. This has to lead. Right. It's like I don't know who they are. That leads to that. This will have to lead to Conan at some point. Now, I don't want Red Sonja to be like a crutch to get to Conan. If this is successful and we get more Red Sonja, then okay, we can later do Conan the Barbarian, but not now. And say Tree Fitty. But yeah, we can talk. Let me read Ready Player One, and then I'll get back to you, Scott.
I got like 80% through the Audible of it.
I've had the book for years, and I just haven't read it. It's probably since the movie came out. I'm like, I will read the book. No, I never.
Here's why you got an Audible, because it is narrated by Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job reading the book, and I.
Oh. Okay.
Device is not connected.
The last thing I want to mention was
Scott Box returns.
We got Scott. Okay, cool. You had some, Scott?
In tech is just going to murder me. The listening to the audio book first and then watching the movie made a big difference. But you're right. This is not a book review. The movie was still really, really good. Just to make sure we're clear on that. But I'm with you that this should not be a gateway to get to a Conan universe. This should be, if Red Sonja does really well and it does about Tree Fitty, then it should be able to leap all the way over and it should get its own sequel. It should be its own standalone thing.
Right.
If you want to make a crossover, that's fine.
Right.
But don't use it to be a launching point for a Conan universe. If that's what it's going to be, make it a launching point for a Red Sonja universe and do that. Don't. It's not fair to this franchise to do that.
Yeah, I don't think that the IP is so big that we have to treat it like, like it's the word is the law in the Bible and follow it. Right. I think that it's kind of loose and you can do an adaptation and go from there. And now maybe the chat's going to blow up and there's Red Sonja and Conan fans that are telling me to just get all the way out.
If anything, give me this. At the end of Conan the Barbarian or Conan the Destroyer, he becomes King Conan. And they hint at it at the end trailer. Give me that. Bring back Schwarzenegger, really old gray beard as King Conan at the end cameo within the Red Sonja universe. And I will be able to rest happy knowing that my childhood dream of a movie that from the 1980s came to fruition as an adult.
Hell, bring back Jason Momoa and just make a soft reboot. I don't think that was bad casting. It was probably just a bad movie.
The problem with that is Momoa seems to be everywhere right now. And I mean, so is he going to have time, or are we getting another restart with another unknown guy doing another thing?
Just make he went in.
Yeah, and that's the hard part. Is Momoa did a really good job with Conan. It was not a bad movie. Wasn't a major holy mackerel. Wasn't a major success, but at the same time, it was still good. It's watchable. But if you're going to start over, what are you going to bring in some new 20-year-old?
I'm just going to say Dave Bautista for Conan, and then let's move on.
Oh my!
Dave Bautista is also the fill-in. Oh, we need a muscle-bound, solid actor. Let's go Bautista. Let's go Momoa. Like those are the only two guys we throw, or The Rock.
Now he's talking about busy. That man's doing everything.
I don't know how to break it to you, but it looks like the banner on the bottom changed topics, so we have to follow suit with that. I have no control over this. So I just rewatched this right before the podcast because, again, we are professionals here, and that is the Marvel celebrates the movies, or they welcome us back to the theater, and they give us Stan Lee and sneak peeks, or as I call it, cry time. And the first time I watched this, I was at work. I just got a notification. I was like, I wonder what this is. And I snuck off to the bathroom and I was just watched it. And I was like, I got a little teary eye. I just watched it again on a bigger screen. And I got that choking, almost hiccuping cry watching it. And I was like, I hate this so much. And it's weird, the things that set you off because this is essentially footage we've already seen to music we've already heard to a Stan Lee quote that's been around for a while, and several, and all movies announced that we knew about, just with title cards we hadn't heard of yet, and then a tiny, tiny bit of new footage, but yet every bit of it worked. And then they had a shot of a live audience opening night watching Endgame in theaters, and just that moment. And I was like, oh, look, I'm crying again. This is just completely I'm not gonna say demasculating because all men can cry. It's perfectly fine.
I cried last night.
I just got to bring this back real quick. Sean loves Scott's King Conan idea.
Facts, baby.
And he asked the question about Brigitte Nielsen's version of Red Sonja being in the Arnold-verse. Arnold is in that Red Sonja, so yes, they're in the same universe.
Yes.
But jumping forward to this trailer, I didn't cry, but or teaser. I didn't cry, but it gave me all the happy feels. It was a positive thing for me. These were all good memories of movies that I really enjoyed. The only spot that gave me feels is when they showed Chadwick Boseman yelling "Wakanda Forever," and then later in the trailer, boom, that's the title for the next Black Panther movie, and it just that kind of tie-in is so beautiful to me. And they did such a good job. Some of these new movies coming up, there's so much, but they also put off so many things for so long. I'm really excited to get Black Widow because that was the bridge, right? That was the one that's going to fill this gap.
The more they show, the more Winter Soldier vibes I'm getting. I'm like, that's still the best movie.
Again, you got 10 seconds of Black Widow in this. And it got me just as pumped as watching the full trailer for that movie. And that movie was one that I never even really cared about seeing when the first trailers came out, when they announced they were making it. I'm like, you already killed her. Like, what's the point? And now it's like, I really want to see how this ties into the whole thing the whole scheme as a whole. And with the Eternals and everything else they tease in there, and then getting really quick down towards the end when they're just listing the new movies coming out, Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man, No Way Home, all these things. It really got me pumped up. So it started as an emotional thing, and by the end, I was like, I want to watch some movies. Like, let's do this. Let's open a theater and watch them all back to back, straight through.
Right, like Scott may not have cried, but his heart grew 3 sizes that day. It was some great stuff. Like, I love this video. I, like you, Jesse, I watched this at work when I probably shouldn't have, and I was just there. And I was
how often does this life of ours like really just like overtake and surpass what we're doing at work?
everything. Like, I was watching Casino Royale a couple days ago at work, just because. But I was like,
I'm not gonna say that I listen to IG movies in my headphones with my phone in my pocket, but I'm not gonna not say it either.
No, yeah, like off the record, But I of course, like, seeing the Marvel welcoming us back into theaters, and that Stan Lee bit that they pulled, I actually listened to that bit for the first time a few days prior, completely unrelated, in a different video. Stan Lee talking about Marvel and these characters and how these are real people and they relate to real things going on in our world, and they coincide with the pictures from the shots from the newer movies. And I'm over here like, damn, Stan, I miss you so much. But then, of course, the moneymakers at the end, where they showed us dates and movies, and we got to see more Eternals. We got to see the Eternals for the first time. And it's like, and Salma Hayek's on a horse. It's like this is some real stuff. Like, I am.
And Jim and Chan's talking about, we were the ones that changed everything. And then we hear Salma Hayek say, if you love something, you fight for it. And we're just getting these little inklings. I was like, please tell me a trailer's in the next week or two. Like, I need this Eternals. But like, you got to think about it. We've got Black Widow trailer and a Shang-Chi trailer. Both haven't released yet. Are they going to have a trailer for a third unreleased film? Or are they going to let something hit first?
There's no way. I don't think they wait till Black Widow to release the trailer for Eternals. That's July. That's another 2 months.
Oh my gosh. Maybe
because when's this movie come out? November? Yeah, 4 months of promotion.
That's a long time for build-up.
I think it will not come out before Loki starts, but it might come out during.
Well, they started promoting Black Widow a year and a half ago, just to tease us to get all the way to June now. So
I don't need a full ass trailer. I just need like a little bit, like
half-assed,
like the Shang-Chi one. Like, that's all I needed. That's all I needed. I don't need to see anything else from that movie. I just need to see Kung Fu, Aquafina, and that's it. Bang, I'm in. I'm gonna be in the theater opening day in September.
Tigers and a little bit of Crouching Tiger vibes.
Right.
Listen, Eternals, much like Guardians of the Galaxy, is one of those things that even comic book fans, unless you're really in it, you're like, I don't know much. Like, everything that I've learned about Eternals has been since the announcement of the Eternals. And it really sounds like they are like immortal X-Men kind of. And I was like, that's cool. And we see super speed. We see
the one guy flashing from the side.
Yeah, and then Angelina Jolie is like crafting a sword out of cosmic energy. Kind of like that shot is like very similar to like Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat. But that's
right. That great movie.
Well, in the Shang-Chi trailer, we get the uppercut to the guy's belly in the bus, and it had a very much a Matrix type vibe because it's super fast when he hit him. Then everything slows down as the guy flies away, and the kind of the way the shot was framed and everything had very much a Wachowski siblings feel to it. But that little bit of Shang-Chi, the little bit of the Eternals were probably of the whole thing. They were the highlights for me because it was a little bit of new stuff hadn't really seen, and the Eternals is one that's completely foreign to me. And I'm probably not going to go out and buy a whole bunch of Eternals comic books. I'm just going to allow the movie to be what it is and take it as that.
And I'll say that out of the footage, yes, the Shang-Chi and Eternal stuff was the highlight for me. But when we got into the title cards, like, listen, I had eye moisture for most of this trailer.
You got dirt in your eye.
That's what it was. But then the second, the they just start hitting us with the title cards. I was like, oh my gosh. And then it gets that Wakanda Forever. And that's when I started getting the like, like just real bad cry. And we got Wakanda Forever, which is a new title for us. And then we have The Marvels, which I was like, perfect. Because they've said that they're going to have Miss Marvel in it. We're going to have Photon or Monica Rambeau.
Or whatever the hell they're going to call her.
Whatever they want to call her by. I was like, these are your 3 Miss/Captain Marvels. So calling it The Marvels, they have the Photon logo right in the center of the Marvels tag. And then they have the Miss Marvel S. And I was like, this is great. And we're going to get the Miss Marvel show before this comes out. And this could be a spin-off of Secret Invasion. There could be so many things leading to this like epic cosmic story. So that's great. And then we get just reaffirmation on Fantastic Four with a really cool logo. And we know it's going to be directed by by the fantastic
John Watts. Yeah,
absolutely.
He's great.
We got a little bit of insight here. The Eternals, they're very much like the new gods. Jack Kirby had a thing for creating races of gods. He created the Eternals at Marvel, and when he moved to DC, he created the new gods. Jack Kirby and his lovely weirdness.
Yeah, the Eternals, right? And okay, so Marvel, the MCU and Marvel Studios have done such a great job of introducing characters that are so foreign to us and making us be like, yay, we love the talking tree that only says the 4 words. Like that's something that Marvel excels at. Whether it's the Guardians, no one gave a shit about the Winter Soldier, right? Like what the hell is this?
Well, Falcon.
Literally every character that's not named Spider-Man or the Hulk, people weren't going out in droves to see Captain America. Like it's like because they loved Captain America.
If you know what I mean? In 2011, when Captain America came out, if you would have said, we're going to have the character of Falcon, which in the comics has wings and talks to birds, will be your next Captain America, everyone would have revolted.
Yeah, and everyone would have just stopped giving a shit.
Yeah,
and
now we're all crying. We're all crying at that finale.
Right, and Marvel's done such a killer job of showing us all these characters. If you would have told me 2 years ago, oh yeah, they're going to do Kamala Khan. No, they're not, you liar. Get out of here. They haven't even done... They haven't even done Spider-Man 3 or whatever the hell. And now they're going to bring in Andrew Garfield, supposedly.
We're going to have a She-Hulk movie.
Yeah, the show series. And they're going to bring back Abomination. It's like, oh my God. Like
Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight.
Unofficially, but officially. And there's so much Marvel content coming out over the next year, really. And I saw this thing on social media where it was like DC. It was like the On Your Left meme, but it was DC with Sam Wilson. He's like, oh yeah, Zack Snyder cut. Yeah. And then Marvel coming with this like 10 movies and 5 series in a year. Like all it took is the 1 year. And they're going to release all these movies. Like we're going to get 4 MCU movies this year. 4 all in the back half of the year. Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Spider-Man No Way Home. That's all coming out from July to December. On top of the TV series you're going to get, the ones we just got, and Loki, What If, Miss Marvel, presumably at the end of the year. Like, so what the... Oh, no, Hawkeye, because I think that wrapped first. Hawkeye towards the end of the year.
Steinfeld.
Right, like there's so much going on, and DC's like, oh, we got the Batman coming in March, but there's so much content with the MCU. Right, March of next year. But Marvel's like, you know what? We took a year off. 2021 is mine. And they started with WandaVision, and now here we are crying at the end of everything because, damn it, we missed this stuff. And this trailer showed, like, yo, we all remember our time watching Endgame. All of us do. We all probably remember our time watching Infinity War, watching the snap happen, people fading away, and we're all like, like all crying and stuff.
Oh, just how many times can you talk about being in the theater and having all the air sucked out of the room?
Right.
That was like just a 5-minute scene of nobody breathing.
Exactly. And people just reacting and people fading away and people are crying because their favorites are fading away. And Spider-Man's like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. It's like, oh, dang.
Randy, thank you for doing a better job than me. Yes, please, guys. We got at least 5 people watching right now. If we could get a couple likes in here, it lets us get more views so that we can make more videos.
I just want to tack on. There's not a studio I trust more than Marvel to make sure they produce. There's so many studios that do a lot of stuff that you have to question what's going to come out. Anything Warner Brothers does with DC makes me cringe because I'm like, are we going to get what I'm supposed to get, or am I going to have to like wait for some director's cut to come out to fix all the wrongs? Whereas with Marvel, you can trust it right out of the gate, and they've wove the web between the shows, the movies, characters you've never heard of. They always pay off.
Marvel kills it. What other studio do you know that they're gonna absolutely kill it every single time? Well, like A24, they're really good. But Marvel on a way bigger scale with way more moving parts, and they're all connected to one another, and they do such a seamless job of connecting everything. How the hell are you gonna tell me that Spider-Man, Shang-Chi, the Eternals, the Fantastic Four, and She-Hulk are all gonna be rocking in New York somewhere? Like I don't understand how Kevin Feige's brain works, but it's as far as I'm concerned, it's perfect.
As far as we know, it sounds like She-Hulk's going to be like a courtroom comedy with a super powered. Her name's escaping me right now.
Jen Walter.
Well, yeah, Jen Walter. But
you're talking about the actress. It's Tatiana Maslany.
Thank you very much. Any other day, I would have had it. It's so exciting, and this, for me at least, since there's some entertainment, bringing it to the Schmodown for a little bit, they're doing it in the FCL, the First Class League, and they're looking at possibly doing it down the road for the Schmodown, but like the inclusion of Mandalorian and Disney Plus content. Right. I was like, okay, if we're going to start getting into Disney Plus content, then let's get that MCU division. Like I'm not
snap.
I don't want to be that guy because we're blessed with the divisions that we have.
That guy.
But if I'm just saying, I love the Star Wars division, and with its existence, the only thing that really compares to Star Wars as far as like the breadth of geek knowledge and like things to pull from is Marvel. DC's great, but it's inconsistent and all over the place. And that's the thing, is it doesn't have to be a Marvel division, just MCU. We're approaching like 25 films, all these Disney Plus shows and stuff. Like that's a lot.
It's inevitable. I feel like by the end of next season, so what, season 9?
Randy, don't leave us hanging. I want to know what it is because I
have one.
It's been more than one for me, but out of however many films, it's minuscule. Nobody has the success rate that Marvel has. And
Jesse, are you talking about Iron Man 3?
It's one of them.
Dude, I'm telling you,
it's his go-to.
I still don't. I mean, of course, everyone has their opinion, and that's great, and I love it. But damn it, Jesse,
Chris, I'm past the point of attacking people for liking it. I've grown up,
and I'm not going to attack you for it because I can't make you like it. Like,
I think it's a good movie. I don't like it as an Iron Man movie, which is kind of my feeling about the Dark Knight trilogy. Which that's another thing to get into. Also,
that's a whole conversation for a whole different day. You might get
we don't have 4 hours to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I just want to say I agree with Brandy. I was underwhelmed with Captain Marvel. It's not a bad movie, but it's not a bad movie, and it's enjoyable. But it for me, it was like, okay, I could move on. My life could be exactly as it is today without that movie having ever been in it.
No, you can't say that because Ben Mendelsohn as Talos is like one of the greatest characters in all of the MCU. But
I really enjoyed Captain Marvel. My one disappointment, I guess, is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And I know I've talked to some folks, and
so far I like both these movies a lot.
Oh, and I've said that to some folks, and they told me like, "Yo, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is my favorite MCU movie," and I'm like, ugh!
That's pretty wild. It's
right, and I'm over here like, eesh, and I the one friend in question, like, I love her to death, but the one time I said that to her, she's like, "Oh, that one's my favorite." I'm like, "You like that one more than the first one?" Like
the problem with Guardians 2 is it had to come on the heels of how good Guardians 1 was, and Guardians 1 was so cool, so hip and different, and it was irreverent. It brought something fresh to the whole entire Marvel cinematic universe, and then they tried to be as cool as that one for the sequel, and it wasn't as good.
Scott out here bringing out the dad talk. It was hip and cool, and you know what the young kids like.
Hey, listen here, I'm with it.
You whippersnappers,
you jive turkeys. But well, hey, listen, those songs were back from when I was a kid, so leave me alone. And those movies, the first one was really good. The second one tried to be as cool as the first one, and I think that's the only place it suffered. I really do like Guardians 2, but it's not as good as Guardians 1, not even close.
I mean, we can go off on a whole like. I would
be here all day.
I would love to take 3 hours, just like us, maybe a couple other people, and let's just talk MCU. Just like go through it. Like I'm overdue.
The whole thing.
I did it a while ago. I mean, we broke it up into several videos, but like, I got some stuff to get off my chest, like good and bad things I just want to talk about. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
My opinions on these movies have changed over the last few years. Like my ranking list would be different.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting thing. I think there's a lot of different ways that we could set that up. That'd be a fun thing to do. I want to say one point right here.
Female characters with that movie.
What I will say with Captain Marvel is there's a lot of things that I like about it. I think it's one of the weakest directed films in the MCU, but all the elements are in place there. I like Brie Larson. I like Ben Mendelsohn. It just didn't feel as coherent as some of the other things. It wasn't as smooth. So I'm not gonna say I was disappointed though, because my bar wasn't, because we weren't introduced to the character yet. I didn't have the bar that I had some of these other ones. I was like, give me a fun, entertaining movie and introduce this character. They succeeded at that. They could have succeeded more, sure. But
I saw this. I'll be honest. I felt like that movie they forced in because they needed that character for the last 5 minutes of Endgame. So they crammed the movie in so they could pull Captain Marvel out because she was so underwhelmingly used in Infinity War and Endgame. And I know she was off doing other stuff, but that character could have had such a massive impact in different ways.
She's OP, man. Like they had to keep her away.
It's really unfortunate that I think the two misjudgments of timing of release are both female-led films. Like we get Black Widow like 10 years late, and then we get Captain Marvel kind of like just wedged in there so that we can have someone that's like Thanos worthy power level. And I was like, okay, it would have been nice to get her, because there was rumors of her showing up at the end of Age of Ultron. Like in that post-credit scene, they even had a stand-in for that scene. I was like, that would have been good. Have Captain Marvel
4 years sooner.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have altered the entire universe, though, as far as the dynamic of how everything worked.
Well, you could just still have her peace out. Just have her whole movie be cosmic, like the Guardians of the Galaxy. They didn't need an excuse to not help the Avengers.
Right. And I mean, they kept the movie in the 90s, so obviously before any of this Iron Man stuff was going down. But my one thing with Captain Marvel that I'll agree with when it comes to being underwhelmed, and the one big thing that I saw, this is not my take, so I'm not going to take credit for it, is when the movie came out, someone said, this is a great phase 1 MCU movie in phase 3. And I thought to myself, that's the perfect way to look at this thing. Not saying it's bad or it's really good. I'm not saying it's 5
just
stars.
Like the Marvel bar has been escalating, and it was, but what I love about this, and what is like evident in like the Marvel trailer that we just watched, is like even the worst Marvel movies are rewatchable. Like I don't love Incredible Hulk, but
I'll watch Incredible Hulk before I watch Thor: The Dark World. And I know again that's not a new take, but
my only argument with that is like the Loki scenes get me through that movie.
I love Thor: The Dark World. I know I'm in the minority here, but I love Thor: The Dark World. I like all 3 Thor movies.
Whoa,
one of my favorite.
You said love. You used the L word.
There are things about it that are really endearing, and I'm looking very much to Love and Thunder coming out. To make it the first. This will be the first quadrilogy, right?
Before we get Captain America, apparently.
Yeah. But there you go. Just to make Scott feel a little better.
I got to rewatch this movie? It's been literally 8 years since I've watched this movie. Should I watch it again?
Yeah, because like I think again it has to deal with like the escalation of quality with Marvel. Does it hold up to some of the things before and after it? No, but like there's
you can say that for any phase 1 or early phase 2 movie.
Yeah, it's not. Well, the thing is, you had And for me, it was a rough patch because you had Age of Ultron, and I'm a defender of Age of Ultron. Ironically, the only thing I don't like about it is Ultron, but like everything else about that movie,
I'm also Age of Ultron defender.
Yeah, it's not perfect, and it's not the first one, but it's a great movie.
It's a lot of fun.
But you had Avengers 2, and then you had Iron Man 3, which we debate on. But then it was Iron Man 3. I was like, ugh, and then Thor: The Dark World. I was like, ouch. Okay, well, we're off to a bad start. Then you had Winter Soldier, and I was like, okay, you know what? All the faith in the world. I'm just going
to. And then Guardians came right after that.
And then Guardians came after that, and then oh wait, I'm sorry. Avengers 2 was after that. I got my
Avengers 2 was 2015.
So let me just everything I said about Age of Ultron. I'm talking about the first Avengers. But I mean, there's only 24, 25 movies, so
you're
like,
fine.
Don't at me. Anyways,
I'll at you.
We will. We were talking about this trailer, Thor: Love and Thunder. We got a title card for that. There's No Way Home, Fantastic Four, like we said, and then it basically says like we'll see you in the movies. And I want to ask you guys a question. What do you think are the chances? Because Black Widow right now is set to be a Disney Plus and theater like day and date a premiere charge.
Right.
Do you think they retract that by July?
No.
Nope.
You think they're going to keep it on Disney Plus?
If they I mean think that they will. It will be theaters and Disney Plus, but by hopefully by July we can all go to the movie theater and go see this thing the preferred way. And I think with that $30 price tag, they're almost telling people go to the theater. Just go to the theater and see it. And I trust me, I'll be there opening night.
Several movies in theaters, so that's been really exciting.
Right, like I'm lucky enough to I've gotten both my shots. I got my little Vaxxy card. I'm all good. And
I went in June.
Hell yeah, brother! And I went June, and I went to go see Scott Pilgrim this past weekend, and it was fantastic. But Black Widow, I think that'll be talk about going back into the theater, having that experience again. A Marvel movie is the way to go.
Just imagine when that Marvel logo comes up and they play through it and the music starts and stuff, like just the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as exciting when you know you're about to watch a flick and reel stream and you get that 30-second countdown. Like it's just they're real close to the same feeling. Almost there.
It's like that and the Universal logo.
I don't think any movie theater experience quite gets me like the flick and reel countdown. But other than maybe the Star Wars, with Star Wars flashing on the screen, that might be the only thing that actually gets me that pumped up. But that trailer certainly set the stage for the rest of this year. So of those movies they tease that are coming this year, which one's number one on your list of the four still to come this year?
Oh, Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man.
Wait, you said for this year?
Yeah, the one's coming out we got 4 hitting before the end of this year.
Spider-Man.
Multiverse of Madness is next year, right?
Yes, that's next March.
If I was to say all of them, Multiverse of Madness is number one.
Yes.
Just for the
shiitake. If we're including all of them?
No, I was talking about just this year, but Multiverse of Madness is that one's number one by a landslide.
That's going to be awfully important to the rest of the universe.
It's Black Widow, Eternals, Shang-Chi, and
Spider-Man Far From Home, or No Way Home.
Eternals.
What?
So I'm so excited for basically a live action Into the Spider-Verse with all the different worlds colliding and stuff. Excitement.
Thanks for the hint, Andrew Garfield.
Peak excitement, right? And I'm saying my 1 and 2 are like this. It's just I love the cast that they've gathered for the Eternals.
Right, yeah.
And the fact that I know nothing about it, and every time I learn anything more about it, I'm like, that sounds incredible. Selma Hayek's character, I believe, can talk directly with the Celestials, which is where their powers are derivative from. And then we're going to learn more about.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh no!
He was mid-rant. Look out!
He was mid-soliloquy.
I'm going number one is. Oh gosh, it's between.
Oh, there we go.
Am I back?
We lost most of your speech.
Yeah, we lost. You were talking about how Salma Hayek can talk to Celestials like the real person, and then we lost you after that.
Am I still here? Because I got a little internet notification thing in the corner.
Yeah, no, you're still good. You're pixelated, but your audio's clean.
All right. Well, nobody wants to look at this mustache, anyways.
Keep sporting it.
Yeah, and I love all the powers. We got super speed, and it looks like it's being given to us in a different way than Quicksilver was. We got, I believe, Brian Tyree Henry who was recently in Godzilla, and he's also
Richard Madden, Kit Harington.
Speaking of Spider-Verse, he was this is Jefferson. Is that his name?
Oh, you're talking about
oh
my god, yeah, Miles' father in Spider-Verse, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks great, and then we get to see Kumail Nanjiani looking like a golden god himself. With
that man got shredded.
Wow, like his head looks like a different shape. He's just all mass.
He looks unhealthy almost, but we know he's healthy, but he looks unhealthy. But Scott, what was your number one?
Mine's probably a tie between Eternals and Spider-Man. But if I had to, if you told me I could only watch one of the two, I would go Eternals as well, just because it's something different. And I love all the Spider-Man movies. There has not been one. I'm talking all three. Even Spider-Man 3, which is the suckiest of the Sam Raimi ones, I still really enjoy that movie. I love both Andrew Garfield's and Tom Holland's fantastic as Spider-Man. I have a lot of Spider-Man in my life that I can go to when I need a fix. I am really looking forward to something new, and that's what the Eternals are bringing. Is something I haven't seen.
It's new
different
across
context.
the board. New characters.
Totally.
New actors and actresses that we haven't seen yet. Chloe Zhao. Okay, that's it. You want to talk about?
Yo, I just watched Nomadland last weekend.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like John Watts has given us like Cop Car and some great Spider-Man movies, but we have the best director of the best picture directing a Marvel movie. So if there's like anything to make that your number one for this year, like there's that.
Marvel.
And then you have Academy Award nominated actors throughout, and then like why can't I think of her name? She was in Captain Marvel, but they are using her. She was in Crazy Rich Asians. Gemma Chan,
yeah.
Eternals has so much going for it that the other movies don't, in that it's completely fresh. There's nothing you're building on going into this one. It's not like Far From Home or No Way Home, which has to build off of the previous two movies. And there's an expectation going in. With Eternals, it's like clean slate. I have nothing to think about. Now, do I know a little bit about the Celestials and the other, the fact that they're immortal beings? Yeah, sure. But this is still fresh in comparison, and it has way more upside to me. Also, just the little bit that they've shown. Yeah. Keep bringing it. And I love Kumail Nanjiani as an actor, as a comedian. His stand-up is way underrated. He is fantastic. And to see somebody who you would totally not expect as a superhero coming in and playing that role of a superhero is
definitely the first time Marvel's done that.
Yeah, right. Again, you can trust Marvel. They figure it out. And they know how to weave a story between different things together in this beautiful, no pun intended, but spider web where everything's linked together. Or maybe pun intended, but they do a beautiful job with it. And it really is, it's one of those things where you may not expect it, you may not want it, but when you get it, you're always like, yeah, that was delicious. I'll have some more.
And see, I love that y'all keep talking about Marvel Studios, but you know where the party's at? Sony right now. Like, okay.
Sony Animation, Mitchell's versus the Machines.
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it's like the best movie ever since Paddington 2.
But, all right, guys, I apologize. I have to bounce out. It's been a pleasure,
we're
guys.
about to do the same. So thank you, Scott.
No doubt about it. Thanks, Scott. That's the man right there. But that's Spider-Man 3, I'll keep my thoughts brief on this. Yes, it's looking like a Spider-Man Spider-Verse type of deal, but I feel like not only with the Sony deal that they put in with Disney Plus, I think this character's sticking around. I think I think this character's going to stick around for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I want to see this Peter Parker become the spectacular Spider-Man, the amazing Spider-Man, the bombastic Bagman, something like that. I want to see.
Did you just Peter pull out a Bagman reference?
Damn right I did.
All that you are, sir.
I want.
But with the Fantastic Four, we can get that, right?
And it's the same guy. So same guy's directing both. So I want this because I feel like the first two films, it's Peter relying on someone. Like whether the first film it's Tony, the second film it's Mysterio, and the third film it's going to be presumably other Spider-Man, and he'll become. Go ahead.
Because we don't know a whole lot about this movie other than like we're getting Electro and Doc Ock, and we're getting a de-aged Alfred Molina, and we're getting a not blue Electro, so we don't know exactly what's happening. What are the chances we get Jake Gyllenhaal back in this movie? Because I have said for a long time that is such a fake death. Like I'll usually accept things, but like it's Mysterio. Any other character I would have bought it. But this is what Mysterio does.
That's the character.
That's literally what he does. Yeah.
Are
we setting up Sinister Six? Are we seeing Sinister Six in this movie, or is this going to be the last step to that?
So I've gone on other shows and I fantasy made this movie, and in a perfect world, in my perfect world, I should say, the Sinister Six does form and they fight the 3 Spider-Men that we've had. That's my thing. I doubt that'll happen. But Andrew Garfield's making it sound likely.
The Sinister Six is cross-dimensional, and then they have to fight the Spider. Because it's always, to me, any competent 6 villains should be able to take out Spider-Man. I feel like they always make him overly incompetent. So if you have 6 of them versus the 3 Spider-Men, then you have a fight.
Right. Right. And Cinefan in the chat says that his mentor in his new movie will be Doctor Strange. Yes, like that's gonna be a thing.
I'm so mixed on that.
By the end of this film, hopefully, for the love of everything Madam Web, I really do think that we need to see Peter on his own, and him. We saw him swinging through New York at the end of Far From Home, and that was what I've been wanting since the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one, because the second one's not so great. But as a Spider-Man fan, like this is just the one little thing with Spider-Man I have in my whole apartment. I love the character so much. I'm eager to see Eternals, and I've felt this way going into Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm like, this is weird. I had never heard of these people before, but I'm intrigued. And now, 7 years later, now I'm like a Marvel junkie. I'm like, I don't know who these characters are. These characters are weird, but damn, I'm excited. Same thing for Shang-Chi, same thing for Black Widow, but Spider-Man's in my heart.
If you haven't yet, just because this is one of the things that really got me excited, go up and look. There's a breakdown. Maybe I can find the link for it, but they did a breakdown of each individual character's powers, not from the comics, but actually what they will be in the movies.
Okay.
And I was reading off those. I was like, this is wild.
It's going to get weird, right? It's like, at least weird by MCU standards.
I can't remember. It's very X-Men-y, but like cosmic X-Men-y. Like I can't remember all of them. Obviously, we saw the super speed, and we know that one of them talked to Celestials. But I love that like Angelina Jolie's powers is crafting cosmic weapons, and it looks good.
Right, and I forget that Angelina Jolie was in that movie, and I saw her in the thingy. I'm like, whoa! I'm talking about someone I never thought I'd see in a Marvel movie. Angelina Jolie, of all people. But one last thing in regards to the trailer. Them ending with Fantastic Four, the way they ended the Investor Day for at least the Marvel portion. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy we're getting this movie. I'm over the moon about it, and I know people are out here trying to figure out what they're going to do with them, how they're going to be introduced. Are we going to see them, their origin story? It won't be an origin story. Who the hell knows? But the fact that they reminded us, did you hear the rumor that they changed Ms. Marvel's powers in the MCU?
I did. And there's some set photos that kind of lend to that. And if they go this route, at surface value, I'm angry. Are you fairly familiar with Kamala?
Yeah.
So it sounds like she's going to have some kind of purple energy abilities. And I'm like, don't do that. And like,
she's not stretchy?
It sounds like that, and they're gonna have it come from her bracelets or something. And I'm like, is she in Wanted, Amaru? Is she in Wanted? I don't think we know about this.
Look, what's up, Amaru?
Because she plays Sloane, right? Right, that's Sloane. Son of a, get out of here! Get out of here!
I can't wait for Swift Moses 2. Whenever that happens, it'd be so much shit talk.
Bloodbath. I'm telling you, like, I know that he's not going to give it to me, but like, we're going to have more than 2 weeks prep, and it's going to be. I
need IG tournament. That's what I need. But no, the Fantastic Four stuff it's a great way to end the trailer. I haven't heard about the new Kamala Khan situation. that's one ballsy decision to make because that character is beloved.
I hope it's wrong.
That'd be one hell of a character to switch up their power set because I mean Kamala, she's Pakistani American.
Is it because they have Fantastic Four and like Miss Marvel?
They don't want to do too stretchy people.
And I'm like, yeah, but she can shapeshift and she can do some other interesting, weird stuff.
I'd understand why they wouldn't want to do two stretchy people, but they're two drastically different characters. Like one is a teenage girl, the other one, in my perfect world, is like a 40-year-old man.
Because at some point we're gonna have like two Spider-Men that have very similar powers.
What with like Miles?
Yeah, probably at some point, and then they're not gonna bat an eye at that.
Right, and yeah, the only difference with Miles is like the Venom touch, the camouflage.
Yeah, this is my point. So the Marvels are all just going to shoot energy.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, that's. I hope they're wrong. I really hope we'll see. Whenever we get some proper footage, but the suit looks cool.
I was just about to say, did you see the leaked suit? Yeah, the suit looks good. There's so many things to look forward to. I want the same trailer, but for it to be all the Marvel TV that's coming out. Because that is like another 10 properties.
Give me Hawkeye.
Ethan Hawke and Moon Knight.
Right.
After just talking a whole bunch of smack about Logan like a year ago. Now we just need Martin Scorsese to direct a Marvel movie, and then
he's going to direct what Marvel movie does Martin Scorsese direct? I think he does. He does the Wrecking Crew movie for Marvel.
I was gonna see if we finally get Daredevil back in the MCU and if we get a movie.
Oh, shiitake mushrooms! Only if it's Charlie Cox. Yeah,
I want to see that.
And hopefully we'll see them in She-Hulk. Hopefully.
Dude, I think it was more than one Marvel money truck, but yeah, it was.
It was Marvel, Disney, probably Lucasfilm got in there because they needed trucks.
All right. Well, that is pretty much the end of the topics. Otherwise, we'll just spin off talking about Marvel for the next 2 hours. And I know you got places to be. I got places to be. I got to write it for my next show. We're doing a thank you video, which includes you. We'll be talking about you a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. I'll send you a link so you can come on at any point in time. We got a couple people on there. I'll say right now we got Alex Shawshek opening the show, and then the one, the only. The master of the First Class League, the Dynasty David Campbell will be popping on all the way from Scotland. So I'm very excited for that.
That's the homie right there.
That is David Campbell. As do I. So we'll be talking about. Can I tell you, this man sent me an audio message wishing me a happy birthday, but he sang it to me in the most sultry, seductive Scottish accent I've ever heard, and I was like, "Be still my heart."
I can't wait. I expect mine in August from David Campbell at that point. Oh my God.
I love this community. So yeah, it's going to be really relaxed. I've written pretty much no notes other than some of the people I need to thank. So we're going to be thanking the guests that showed up last weekend. And we're going to talk about some of the Streamlabs that came in because I didn't know what to do. It was like 2 days of me and the fiance just sitting like, how do we thank people for being so generous and just
how much money did you get again? Say it again.
$1,700.
Do you remember my man was expecting like 100, right? 150.
Yeah, I was like, I said at 100 Lauren's gonna come on, and at like 160 we're gonna leave it up to the chat. Within 12 minutes I was at almost $300, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
Wow,
I don't know what to do.
I think I said you'd get like 200 in like half an hour, but that's nuts. These are 12 minutes at $300. That's nuts, dude.
I popped up the Streamlabs here earlier, but like I'm not really going to stress it for a while. Everyone's been so kind and generous. Just thank you. But eventually we do have to, because all that money went to the wedding. Eventually we got to start getting channel money again so I can get better Streamlabs and work.
Suge is still waiting to figure out how much money he has to donate to go to your wedding. Like I think he's still trying to figure that out. Yeah, my birthday's in August. Yeah, so I expect a totally sultry message from David Campbell. It's a great community. Everyone supports everyone full force. Yes, once you're in, you're in.
Brandy's a great example of that. I seeing her pop up on everything that I've been in, everything that I do. And it's like we've never met face to face, but like, my gosh, hug her in an instant. So I appreciate everybody so much. You're a big part of that. Partis, thank you for.
What's up, party?
How's it going?
That's the brother right there. What's up? We some August babies, Leo or Virgo? That's the question. But no, Jesse. Like once you're in this community, right? And I mean, like we wouldn't have met without the Schmodown. I wouldn't have met Matt, the guy I do Spin from the Reel with every Monday.
We never would have met without COVID. It's just like one thing led into the other. So like, is that an Emperor's New Groove shirt?
Yeah, it's the end credit. Like that's really it. Shout out to Super Yaki. Great merch site.
So anyway, that's going to be it for us. Chris, I'll pull you out real quick here so that you can tell everyone where to find you. There we are.
Yeah. Oh, I got the spotlight. So I mean, yeah. If you guys like me talking about Marvel, I do it all the time here on my Twitter, C Anthony Lopez, or on Instagram at the letter C_Anthony Lopez. You see this little Watt Boy Summer thing on the screen. Yeah, it's a little bit of a joke, but truly is a Watt Boy Summer. Watt is my YouTube channel. It's Watt, W-A-T, just like it is right here. Reel, R-E-E-L, 2 E's, Entertainment. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe to that. I'm on Spin from the Reel, a Schmodown reaction show every single Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And I'm on Fridays for Wrestle Reel, my pro wrestling podcast, every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. And I have some other things in the works on that channel. Or you can check out my personal podcast, separate from all this YouTube stuff. It's at For Chris's Sake, FORCHRIS_SAKE. It's my everything bagel. If it's not wrestling or Schmodown, I talk about it there. I've talked about all this Marvel stuff on there. And I just like talking
about everything except Mortal Kombat when he invites his buddy on there.
Right. Look, and that's my fault. And like that was totally, and I have it's a whole thing to that, except
listen, I got to spend 10 minutes saying thank you and like, worshiping at the altar of Chris Anthony Lopez, but then I got to be like, put you on blast for
no. And that's me. And I'm going to get you on the pod one of these days, Jesse. You already know, brother. But absolutely. Like this upcoming Monday, I'm talking Invincible. I have a couple friends of this whole space, Boggs and Colin.
Episodes left.
Invincible, some great TV, and we did a whole spoiler review. Me and Colin Morris, you know Colin Morris, and Boggs, Emmerich Bogle, my man.
Colin's my favorite little piece of chaos.
Colin is, and so in my podcast, to break the fourth wall a little bit, I don't like the F word too much. I censor. It's the only swear I censor is the F word or anything else.
I try to watch myself, especially since my co-host is a pastor. I'm just like, I feel like I'm gonna get smited down immediately.
I was cussing up a storm the whole time, and I'm like, wait, because I think Sky had said like good grief or something. I'm like, oh wait, like, oh no, Scott.
We don't have rules here. It's go with the flow.
I don't think I slipped the F word. Like I think I try to keep the F word to Schmodown after shows and Spin from the Reel. But besides that. Oh, and Wrestle Reel, of course. So everything besides other people's shows and For Chris's Sake, the F word is not a thing. But Colin, he was like, F. I'm like, oh, God, I got to edit all of this. So, but that's Mondays. For Chris's Sake, FORCHRIS_SAKE. Wherever you find your podcast, I'll be there. Thanks, Jesse. This is fun, dude. I love getting to talk to you when I can.
I love that how reliable you are. I was like, man, this is our first time coming back talking some movie news. I want a third person. And I was going to say we kept it like pretty much right around an hour, but then you and me go and we do our thing, so that's fine. As anyone that watched the Schmodown knows, I am the Jackal, Jesse Swift. And you can find me at Jesse Swift on Twitter, or you can find me on YouTube here at the Flickin' Reel Fancast. And I mean, I don't know if I need to do this. You're already here, right? But that's it. Don't need that anymore. And you can find me also on stereo at the Jackal. I haven't been on there for a while, but I haven't given up on it yet. So maybe we could do something on there.
Whatever you want, brother.
This is remnants of our stream that we did last weekend. So again, thank you to everybody that donated, and Paige for Betty. I'm going to get you back. The Boston Badass telling me to shave my goatee into a mustache for $20.
That was the easiest $20.
No, the easiest $20 was just like sitting there with my face in my hands while people threw $100 at me over and over again. We talked about Jake saying he sent me $100 so he could take a shot, and I was like,
"Yo, you talking me Jake Yacovetto?
Yeah,
that's the man right there. I love Jake. Jake's great. The whole space is great, man. And obviously, and yeah, you said like Flick and Reel got the boost because of it, and so have we. Like, it's no stranger that like the Shimonon community embraced Watt Real Entertainment like nobody's business. So we are eternally grateful as well. So, but the appreciation stream, that's going down a few hours.
Yeah, it is. It is. So what time is it here? It is currently a little after 10 a.m. here. So that's going to be 1 p.m. PST. Give me some time to write up some stuff, play some Pokemon Snap, chill a little bit, shake off this light headache, and get into it.
There you go, brother.
So I'll see some of you guys there, hopefully. And until next time, from me and Chris, keep it real, because you got Flick and Reel, Spin from the Reel.
Yeah, that's what's up.
That's right. And goodbye.